Hello, you wonderful and sometimes aromatically pungent people. My name is Taylor. Welcome to the channel. You probably clicked on this video about the Trump guitar. I will get into that in a second here. Let me just explain what's going on in this video real quick for the people who regularly watch my channel. I have been so busy this week. I've been moving a bunch of stuff and I just needed to make a chill viewer commentary video this week. I just want to answer your comments as well, as this will probably be the last video, at least the last video before Christmas. So Merry Christmas, by the way, to all of you out there. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna respond to your comments, starting with the most common comment that I have received in the past couple weeks, and that is, where is the Trump guitar? Many of you have been commenting on my recent video where I bought a Trump guitar. Just trying to figure out what the f is going on with these things. Wrong, right? Let's go to checkout. And when I purchased that guitar, there was a disclaimer on the website saying it wouldn't ship for like 4 to 5 months or something like that. So I'm not expecting this guitar until May. The only thing that I have currently is an email confirmation that they actually got my order. I thought I made that super clear in the video, but apologies if it was confusing and I didn't make it clear enough for you. Also, for the sake of clarity, that video is titled, I bought a Trump guitar so you don't have to. The reason that I bring this up is because the second most common comment that I've been receiving on that video is that I clickbaited people, even though literally what I did in the video was buy a Trump guitar. So you don't have to. And I know that might be somewhat confusing to some of you, so let me remind you how clickbait works. I'm just joking, this is all in fun here. I just wanted to address all of you that had commented, asking me where the Trump guitar is all at once. There you go. If that's why you came here, have a wonderful day. Let me know what I should do with the Trump guitar when it arrives. Currently, my only idea is sick drone footage of me soloing while riding a jet ski, but that sounds expensive and I can't swim. For the rest of you, I'm gonna pace around this room like an insane person, show you what I've been up to, and respond to your comments. So I do these weekly updates with my patrons where I go over stuff like this and I make these vlog type videos. And I just thought to myself, you know, the people that watch my channel regularly might also want to know what's going on. This is what I have going on now. I have a bunch of my amps back here at my house. I'm gonna get another Marshall cab over here, so when I'm using my Mesa cab or any of these cabs, I can still have 3 against the wall, 3 heads on each cab. I think it makes a nice looking set, you know? I think it looks pretty good. And I'm still organizing, but organizing is really boring, which is why I'm making this video. But I have all of my pedals here. A bunch up here. I didn't realize how many pedals I had until I started actually cleaning out this room and organizing everything. PRS guitar, this review is coming soon. This is an 𝐒𝐄𝐂𝐈𝐀𝐋. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. It's the cheapest guitar PRS makes. I asked Zounds if they would send this to me. It is not a paid review or anything like that. I don't get to keep the guitar. I'm sending it back to them. But, you know, I just wanted to, I've never tried a PRS. I thought it'd be cool. As you can see, I moved my guitar rack over here on this wall, and my desk used to be here. This is where I used to do my mixing and stuff. And I realized that I had this whole room set up for mixing, and I rarely ever mix. I'm out here producing videos 9 times out of 10. Mixing is very low on the totem pole, so I'm like, why do I have my whole room set up for mixing? Doesn't make sense. So I reorganized the whole thing, moved my desk out of here, made this my shooting area, and my green screen up there too. You know, if I want to do any cool green screen effects.
Fucking YouTube shill.
What's up?
Just about to go rip some riffs through my dual rectifier, brother. Best amp ever made.
Move my desk over here out of the way. It is not an optimal mixing condition, but that's okay. If I really find that I need a good mixing location, I can always tear this closet out and, you know, put the desk there. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Before I get into more updates, let's start answering your questions. Maybe some of these updates will be answered in your questions. I think it's no secret that you're a metal guy, and because of that, I want to ask 2 things. Do you play any other genres besides metal, maybe even rock in general? And do you think a metal guitar should expand their playing into other genres as well? Thanks so much for the question, man. Yeah, I think it's good to learn other genres of music. The most professional guitar players, in my opinion, are like the guys who can kind of, you know, be on call and go into the studio and sort of play anything. Like the yacht rock guys. Oh yeah, all right. And as far as other styles of music, yeah, it's, you know, a little bit adjacent, but I was in like a post-alternative grunge band for a long time. Like, that's how I started playing guitar. But ultimately, as much of a cop-out answer as this is, you should just do what makes you happy. You know what I mean? And not worry so much what other people think. And if you just want to play metal, and you just want to listen to metal, and you're all about that life, fuck anyone else who tells you differently. You don't have to learn how to play country or some shit just because some dude on the internet told you. You know what I mean? You do you, champ. How's your drummer doing, and are you still using your Synergy or back to your Axe FX 3? Hey man, thanks so much for the question. Duncan is doing good. He's at home now, he's recovering. He just had the stitches pulled out of his hand. For those of you that don't know, the drummer in my band Sacrificer was involved in a workplace stabbing. It sounds really bizarre saying it out loud, but that's what happened. He was attacked by a stripper. He's a DJ at a strip club, and he was attacked by one of the strippers. She stabbed him several times in the back.
The surveillance footage he provided us shows the woman pulling out what appears to be a knife from inside her sleeve and stabbing Allen multiple times. He says it was completely unprovoked.
It felt like a 500-pound dude punching me in the back as hard as possible, basically.
If you're interested in helping him out, I will leave a link to his GoFundMe in the description of this video. But he's on the mend, he's doing good. I haven't actually seen him since he left the hospital, but I know that he's at home now, and you know, he's doing much better. So thanks for asking, man. And it's actually kind of funny that you asked me about the Synergy and the 𝐴X/FX3 rig. Check this out. I've been meaning to make a video on this. I just haven't had an opportunity, but I made this rack of doom. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with this. I wouldn't play live shows with this or anything, but I was just doing this for fun. I have the Synergy power amp down here, my Marshall EL3400 power amp, the Synergy rack, you know, where you put the modules, 𝐴X/FX3, my wireless unit, a BBE Sonic Maximizer, just to fill this gap. I'm probably not gonna use that for anything. Patch bay, power conditioner. I actually haven't even plugged that monster in yet. I'm not really sure what to do with it. You will see that on the channel sometime in the new year, promise. Have I ever attempted my own Franken Strat type build, piece together a metal machine? Yes, and I almost prefer to never have to modify a guitar at all. I would rather just buy a guitar with the things that I like in it already and not ever have to touch it again. And that's just a personal thing. But with that being said, sometimes shit happens. Sometimes you have to replace something. Sometimes you find a guitar like this Jackson Warrior right here that's almost perfect, but it comes with a Floyd Rose Special. And so you swap out the Floyd Rose Special for a Floyd Rose 1000 Pro, which is what I did in the case of that guitar. And then I also do happen to have an Agile guitar that I had my buddy Royce at Heathen Guitars shave down the neck, because the neck was like a 2x4, and he shaved down the neck on that. So I guess that one is modified. But you know, when I think Franken Strat guitar, I think like a guitar that's thrown together from parts and it's totally customized. Yeah, nothing like that. I prefer to stay away from that as much as humanly possible. Thanks so much for your question. Some Simon Sludge friendship stories, please. Oh, dude, I love this question, man. So Simon and I have been friends since NAMM 2020, I believe. And, you know, the way that we met, I guess I could tell you the story about the way we met because it's kind of funny. He hit me up on Instagram and was like, hey, I found out that you're from Portland. I'm from Portland too. You know, we should meet up sometime. And then I responded, oh yeah, are you going to NAMM? Because I'm gonna go to NAMM this year. And he's like, I am, let's meet up. It's like, cool, what day are you flying out? And he's like, oh, I'm actually flying out Thursday. Oh, interesting. Me too. What time are you flying out? 8 a.m. That's crazy. Where are you flying to? Ontario, which is a little bit weird because you would normally fly to LA for NAMM. And I'm like, oh, crazy. I'm flying to Ontario too. And then we found out that we were actually on the same flight out there. So we met up at the airport. So that's how I met Simon. And now Simon and I share an office together and we've become really close friends. Since then, he started a company selling leash layer and pedals. I had Daniel design the Devil pedal and build them. So, you know, like we have a lot of crossover in terms of what we do and our social circles and everything. So, you know, it's just a really synergistic friendship. It's one that I appreciate and one that I benefit from a lot. So thanks so much for the question. Is the Tacoma scene better or the Portland scene? I have no idea. It's been over a year since I played a show and, you know, I hardly ever go to them anymore unless it's something that I really want to see. So, but you know, back when I was playing shows all the time and I was in my band, I didn't think one was better than the other. They were just different. And, you know, they complemented each other in a lot of ways. So when you were making a run on the West Coast, you know, Tacoma or Seattle, and then Portland were both very viable dates, very different markets and demographics. So, you know, you definitely wanted to hit both of them on your way up or down. Thanks for your question. Have you heard that dude, Tom Quayle? I'd love to hear some of that legato technique in metal. All right, let's listen to this.
All right, guys, Tom Quayle here. Hope you're all doing very well.
This is very interesting. I was not aware of this, but I should be aware of this. I should spend more time learning new techniques and learning guitar and stuff and getting better at playing guitar in general because, you know, that's what I do here on YouTube. So thank you so much for introducing me to this. Next time I practice, I'm going to sit down and practice to this, and that looks pretty hard, but we'll see if I can incorporate any of it in my playing. Appreciate you. How do I get a black metal sound on a Line 6 Spider V30 MK2? Put it in one corner of your garage and then put the mic in the other corner facing the opposite direction. I'm kidding. A black metal sound is very vague. I mean, are we talking about this kind of black metal? Are we talking about this kind of black metal? When I think black metal though, I always think boosted JCM 800, just like when I think American death metal, I always think Ampeg VH140C or Crate X GX130C, you know what I'm talking about. That's what I always think about, so maybe just go in there and set up a patch with a JCM 800 and a tube screamer in front and just, you know, turn the gain up to taste. Hope that helps, man. How much difference do active pickups make when using plugins? All right, so this question is a little bit of a rabbit hole. I don't think that active or passive pickups matter as much when you're using plugins. It's more your audio interface, because every audio interface is a little bit different and the input compensation is going to be a little bit different. And I don't want to butcher this and give you bad information. So I will link a video in the description that talks about this in very thorough detail. My favorite rig, guitar, pedal, amp, etc. Okay, so my favorite guitar changes from week to week to week. It happens. It's one of the coolest things about doing this is getting to try out different pieces of gear. But one of the most consistent guitars that I play regularly is, like I said, you know, this Warrior, this X Series Warrior. I bought this for a screaming deal because it's got a big crack in it, but you know, it doesn't affect the playing or anything. And I keep telling myself, oh, I'm gonna have this guitar refinished or something, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But yeah, man, this X Series Warrior is the absolute bee's knees. It has the reverse headstock. Came stock with an EMG 81 and 85 pickup. I might swap those out for the X series of these same pickups, since you know, they're just plug and play. I could just drop those pickups in here. It's fun to play and it looks badass. You know? And then favorite amp, this one is also tricky, but one that I always come back to is this Crank Rev 1 Plus that I have right here. I've had this amp for a long time. It is a great sounding amp. Absolutely needs a boost in front of it, but one of the cool things about it is you can get different flavors of it with different boosts. Love it with the Devil pedal. By the way, it's like one of my favorite amp boost pairings, and that would probably be, you know, the rig, my favorite rig for me. Warrior, Rev 1, Devil boost, Mesa cab. But I did order a 𝐓𝐿 Prometheus, so that'll be coming early sometime next year, and that might change my tune, because I really, really liked that amp the time that I had with it. But I haven't had enough time to know for sure if it's like my favorite amp ever, but it's up there. It's up there. Other strong contenders for favorite amplifier of all time would be this VHT Deliverance 120. My Engel Savage, which is not here right now. And then probably this PRS MT15, man. Way underrated amplifier. Thanks so much for your question. If you had to play one amp, one guitar, one cab, and one pedal for the rest of your life, what would they be? This ties into the question that I just answered. It would definitely be that X Series Warrior, the Rev 1 Plus head, the Devil overdrive pedal, and a Mesa Boogie 4x12 cabinet. Thanks, Barry. Appreciate you, man. Can the 𝐓𝐿 Pandora keep up with a drummer? I can't answer that question confidently. I would actually have to take it into a practice area and find out. My gut instinct is that it will keep up with the drummer about as well as maybe like one of the Joyo Bant amps or one of the mini amps or something like that. And that is to say, it will, and you will be loud, but you won't be able to cut through like you would with like a tube amp or something like that. You know, that's my guess. But if you're in a situation like you're playing live and you just need stage volume and you're actually going to be miking up that cabinet, I would say it's more than loud enough for that. We will definitely have to test that out in the future. Hopefully that answers your question. Thanks so much, man. What speakers and mic would you recommend for old school death metal guitar tones? I mean, as boring as this answer is, I think the Vintage 30 and an SM57 is the tried and true combination for a reason. I mean, you hear it on so many records, and that's just because it just works. You know, it's a good combination. Not all Vintage 30s are created equal. Probably all SM57s aren't created equal as well. And I would say if you wanted to deviate from that and you wanted to do some experimentation, maybe like the DV77 or the 𝐓𝐿. I haven't checked the 𝐓𝐿 speakers yet, but supposedly those are very good as well. You know, maybe something like that, and then ribbon microphones. I found that I very much enjoy ribbon microphones, specifically the Voodoo Ribbon 1 by SA Electronics. I use that microphone all the time. It's really great at reproducing the sound that I'm hearing in the room, so that's why I like using that one. Thanks so much for your question. Can you try cheap Cort guitars? Hey, funny enough, I was actually supposed to be on a launch of a Quart guitar, and then they decided not to at the last minute, so I'm not really sure what's up with that. But yeah, it's something I'm definitely interested in doing, so stay tuned for that. Who was in Paris? Carmen Sandiego?
Take you for a ride on the boat to China. Tell me where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego.
I don't know. String gauges, JK. You know, this is actually an interesting topic. I think a lot of us might kind of poke fun at this because it's a very, I don't know, I would say like beginner type question, you know what I mean? Like, you know, when I first started playing guitar, I had no idea about string gauges. I just knew that, you know, if I tuned down with my normal strings, they got too floppy to play, so I had to buy bigger strings. But if you are a beginner, let me save you a ton of time and hassle. When you are talking about putting different string gauges and different tunings on your guitar, you're actually talking about changing the tension on the neck via the strings on the headstock, like how much it's gonna bend back and forth, and that is measured in pounds. So rather than buying a bunch of strings or going off someone's recommendations or what they tell you should do, like some bullshit YouTuber like me, don't listen to us. Go to stringjoy.com, figure out what tension you prefer. The easiest way to do this is if you know that like you like 9s and E standard, you know, that's a pretty common gauge, then you can actually type in the string gauges from the pack that you like on that string tension calculator, and it'll show you the weights for each. Write down those weights, and then you can change the tuning to whatever tuning you want to play in, and then change the gauges until they match that same tension in pounds. And if you do that, not only will you save yourself a ton of time and headache, but you'll also save yourself potentially a bunch of setup too, because if you're putting the same amount of tension on your neck as you have on it with like your 9s, the way it came set up to you, then you probably won't have to do much adjusting because it'll be the same amount of weight pulling on your headstock. You know what I'm saying? So that is my unsolicited opinions on strings and string gauges. Just go to Stringjoy, use their string tension calculator. You don't have to buy strings from Stringjoy. It does make it a lot easier because you can customize them, but use that string tension calculator and then just find a pack of strings that most closely matches your preferred weight. Thanks for your not really question. Do I like country music? There's some good country music. There's some terrible country music. It's like all music, you know, some of it's really good, some of it's really bad. But if I was in a restaurant or something like that and a good country song came on the radio, I wouldn't be mad at it. I don't know if that answers your question or not. Thanks for asking. Have I ever thought about wanting to be known as a musician instead of a metalhead? No. Weezer is the best death metal band. Oh, you actually have the Pinkerton album cover on your profile. Low-key, Weezer Pinkerton is one of my favorite all-time albums. I know, not very metal, but what are you gonna do? Do I do weddings? I don't know what that means. Like officiate them? No, I've never done that before. How are you doing, Taylor? Doing good? I am, man. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Hope you're doing well also. So that's what's going on with me here in the space like I talked about earlier. I also have the office with Simon. Not 100% sure what we are gonna be doing with that space yet. He's doing his like pedal fulfillment out of there, and maybe that's where I'll just do the Obsidian audio fulfillment. I'm not really sure yet. I'm not really sure. You're gonna have to stay tuned for that one. I have at least one more video this year, and then we'll say Happy New Year, welcome in 2025, and I'll get around to reviewing this PRS guitar and a bunch of other stuff that I got over here that I can't really talk to you about yet. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update. I wanted to say Merry Christmas. Thank you so much to my patrons. If you like this kind of content, you'll probably like what I post over on Patreon. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.